Let's go. Huge. No! Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy TheWheelz, and we're officially just a little over a week into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And after hardcore nutsack of the game during that time period, I wanted to do a quick video on my initial thoughts of the brand new games. I'm going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Paldea region and let you know if all that hype prior to release was worth it. Before I start, I do want to say that there will be major spoilers ahead. We will be looking at all aspects of the game, so that includes performance and gameplay. So if you haven't gotten yourself a copy and trying to stay spoiler free, you've been warned. The minute we found out that Generation 9 was going to be an open world game, the hype around it started to build. Prior to this generation, older Pokemon games were very static, and in order to progress through the story, you had to complete certain missions like a gym or a rival battle to move forward to the next part of the story. Now the question we started asking ourselves was, how is it going to work? Prior to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the only open world game we had was Pokemon Legends Arceus, and the game wasn't bad, it was just a bit slow and repetitive. So how did the Paldea region fare with the new change? Honestly, this is the first game where I thoroughly enjoy the campaign since Ruby and Sapphire. Now granted, Generation 3 is my favorite generation, but since Generation 6, I felt gameplay wise, they were getting stale. Yes, we have gotten fun new mechanics, and the last generation gave us DLC that brought the open world aspect, but when it comes down to playing through the story, it just felt the same. Go through Gym 1 through 8 in a race with your rival with some sort of villainous team needed to be stopped. And before you ask, TheWheelz, isn't Scarlet and Violet like that? Well, in essence, yes, but you could entirely skip the Team Star events and just solely focus on your gym challenges. On top of that, let's say you feel that a certain gym is going to cause trouble. Well, instead of anxiously trying to figure out how to beat it, save it for later when you get a chance to obtain better Pokemon to defeat the gym. You're no longer bound to this linear gameplay of congrats, you beat this gym, next up go to this town to beat this gym leader. Instead, you choose the path to go on, and honestly, it's just a breath of fresh air. As for the villainous group of this game, the Paldea region introduced Team Star. Now at first I was very resistant of them. When they were introduced to us, they were described as a group of delinquent students causing trouble around the school. Which real quick, if you don't know yet, you play as a student from the Naranja Academy. But anyways, immediately I was put off by them, getting Team Yell vibes. Now if you're new around here, you wouldn't know how much I despise Team Yell. Growing up, I always saw the teams in Pokemon as villainous teams. But as of recently, Pokemon has changed that perspective, and I'm okay with that, but Team Yell was not even close to being a team of some sort. They were just annoying fans that were used to place battles around the game. Even Team Skull's goofy ass felt more of a real team than them. So when I got near the end of the Team Star's quest, to my surprise, I was actually rooting for them. They're literally a group of students that were getting bullied, so they formed a team and bullied the bullies out of school. Now unfortunately, the ending of that storyline was seen like a mile away, but it doesn't take away how well written Team Star's quest was. And then finally, we have the Titans quest, which at first I wasn't all interested in and only did them to upgrade my ride Pokemon. But as I played through it more, it really changed my opinion on it, and well, it's now my favorite part of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The Arven plot is just so fucked up that at the end of it, you're literally feeling for him. When I first encountered Arven, I had this animosity towards him. He felt like that rich stuck-up kid in school who just likes to brag and feel he's the one and be all of the school. But in the end, Game Freak had me hating myself for all the rude shit I was saying about him. I mean, for God's sake, on top of dealing with the beloved Pokemon that's ill, he hasn't talked to his parents in a while. And then when they finally contact him, they don't even ask how he's doing or how he's been. No, they ask him if they could open the lab for me, which is just absolutely so fucked up. I also want to make a quick note on our rival, which I actually enjoyed this time around. We all know that the last few rivals have been lackluster and are more of an annoyance than someone who you want to grow strong with. And I'm looking at you, Hop. And boy, Nomona finally redeems that. Now this may be because I let her get the most broken starter in the region, but honestly, that's what I like, a challenge, and it was fun to play around. So as you can see, I was heavily invested in the story, and it left me wanting to play more. And as I said earlier, it's just something I haven't felt in a while, so kudos to Game Freak for that. Now, of course, new generation means new Pokemon, and the Paldea region brought some interesting Pokemon. First off, Paldea Wooper, and I mean, just look how cute it is. Don't get me started on Clodsire too. And Lechonk is on a league of his own. And when it comes to the most annoying Pokemon to evolve, we have Goldengo, which even though getting is annoying, a purely gold Pokemon surfing around is too good that it's worth spending that time looking up on how to get it. And being Ghost Steel is just worth putting on your team for the playthrough. Then we have the starters, which personally I love all three, but let it be known if you're looking to nuzlocke the game and want a challenge, make sure to choose Quaxly. This makes Nemona much more difficult later on when you face her, thanks to Skeldridge. The Pokemon itself is not generally OP, but upon evolution, it gets a brand new signature move called Torch Song. If you don't know what Torch Song is, it gives a special attack boost after each use. So if you do not deal with it right away, it could get out of hand quickly. And trust me, you don't want that to happen. If that shit did a lot of damage, not affecting my ass. Okay, we terrestrialize Dark, or terrestrialize Ground. This is dangerous. Oh my god, I really can't do it. I lose. That did a lot. Fuck me. Do I let this go? She's just gonna keep doing that. I think I lose. No! I didn't bring this out sooner. I should have brought this out sooner. I also want to quickly go over the new mechanic of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is terrestrializing. Being able to change your typing is so broken. What I love even more is how Game Freak showed it off during the story. Every gym leader's ace wasn't even the typing of their gym. They would use the terrestrialize to turn that Pokemon into the very typing that the gym was about. So anyone who is new to Pokemon and want to understand of the new mechanic just has to play the game to see how it works and should slowly understand it. Now, another important thing when it comes down to video games is the visuals. Now, are the visuals in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet going to blow you away? No. But if you were to ask me to compare the visuals from Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, I would say that Scarlet and Violet is a much better improved visuals quality than Sword and Shield, but that's my opinion. And as for the map itself, even though to me it could be a little bit bigger, it was well made for this game. They gave you a lot of places to discover, especially when it comes to hunting all those gimme gold chest forms so that you can evolve it to Goldengo. While we're on the topic of details, we have to go over the details they gave when it came down to the moves when you're battling. And my god, are they beautiful. In fact, the starters got their own signature moves, and even those are absolutely amazing. Now, the biggest thing that I actually applaud for this game was the quality of life changes. Up to this point, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, certain items like battle items, certain TMs, and a lot of stat changing items like EV items were locked to post game. And normally the only way to get them was by doing a battle tower of some sort and earning battle points to unlock them. But now you could buy most of these items the minute you make it to the first major town, which you get to the minute you complete the tutorial. Now, of course, not all items are unlocked in the beginning, but as you play through the story, you get more items to unlock. As for TMs, you can now craft TMs, and just like the items, you naturally get more TMs as you progress. Also, if you play through the game, there are certain points that has a league rep waiting for you, and if you beat certain amount of trainers in that area, they will give you vital items or TMs. Speaking of trainers, just like past Pokemon games, there are NPCs placed in every route. But unlike past games, you're not required to face trainers. So if you're in a rush to get to another city, you no longer have to try to wait for that spinner to spin to get through it. You can literally pass through every trainer and not face a single one of them. And finally, on top of all of that, you no longer need a move relearner or find one in a Poke Center. You could just go to your Pokemon's move summary and relearn the move that you forgot. So overall, there's a lot of good things that came out of this game. And if I could end the video right here, I totally would. But boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Before we get to the bad parts of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, make sure you're not bad by clicking the like button down below. And if you're enjoying what you're watching, make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon related content. And finally, let me know what your thoughts are of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the comment section down below. Just like Pokemon Legends Arceus being an open world game, we end up getting overworld Pokemon. And for the most part, I actually love this idea. It helps fill out the world and not just have a giant world of emptiness. But what I don't like are the terrible hitboxes that they gave the Pokemon. There are times I'm just chilling collecting items and a Pokemon not even close to looking at me encounters me. This is especially worse with the extremely small Pokemon. Even though they are smaller, the detection is still the same as the normal sized Pokemon. What's odd was this was even a problem in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which also had overworld Pokemon. So I don't know how they could go backwards with this. While we're on the topic of Pokemon encounters, I also don't like the behavior mechanic. The idea is great, but the execution is absolutely abysmal. There are times you're just stuck in a loop of encounter after encounter because aggressive Pokemon try to encounter you while you're in a battle with another Pokemon. So the minute you either defeat that Pokemon or try to run from them, you're immediately met with another battle. So if you find yourself surrounded with aggressive Pokemon, good luck. And oh, if you think pausing and going to the menu is gonna stop the loop, you're mistaken. Despite stopping Pokemon from despawning from the overworld, Pokemon still move around you while you're in the menu. So thinking you're gonna go to your bag and get out will hopefully get you out of the loop? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And before we move on from the topic of Pokemon encounters, let's talk about probably the most controversial thing that they could have done. And that's with shiny Pokemon. I'm sure many Pokemon fans were excited to be back to be able to see their favorite shiny Pokemon spawn in the overworld. The excitement you get when you're just chilling and boom, that shiny just shows up out of nowhere. And that's great and all, but what if I told you that you missed a shiny at some point or another while playing this game? Game Freak is infamous at reusing certain things from prior games to the current game. So why not do it here? Shiny Pokemon are already special, so giving them a special animation when spawning in the overworld is something to me that should be given. Especially when we have shiny Pokemon whose color alteration is not much different from their original color palette. And if you're playing this game blind and just don't know how the new generation's shiny Pokemon look like, you're shit out of luck. I just don't understand how this got through with nothing. Overall, there are just parts in this game where it felt like they put low effort or just skip for the sake of releasing the game. For instance, the eating animation when you eat food, like what is this? You're literally taking a bite out of a JPEG image and it doesn't even cut out the part you bite, it just sits there. Then you get this weird looking face from your character like it's gross, then change to, oh, like you don't want your parents to know they made something repulsive and they're gonna beat your ass if you're not eating it. Oh, and how about not adding certain settings that have been there in the past 8 generations? So you're telling me I could turn off hints, but I can't decide to play on set mode or not? It's just mind baffling. Now up to this point, a lot of this stuff doesn't really change the gameplay. Honestly, it's just a hindrance, and it really depends on the player. For me, it's just, it's terrible. But the next part, there is no excuse.
What is that? What is that? Wait.
As I said earlier, the one feeling that you get when you're playing this game is that it felt like it was rushed. And the one big tell you get is from performance. And this game's performance is atrocious. I mean, look at this scene. It's just these poor kids. I get what they were trying to do, but it's almost like A, they were trying too high on the Switch's expectation, or B, just did not play through the game after initially rendering it. It was like, man, that's going to look so good. And you see this throughout the entire game. Pokemon Sword and Shield had this, but it wasn't as bad. Usually the staggering was with things that were from a distance. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet said hold my beer. And don't get me started on how slow this game runs. Just switching Pokemon takes its time, going to your bag, checking your PC, loading cutscenes, and you top all of that off with a bunch of bugs that you get. It makes playing this game feel absolutely awful. Beat him up! Where are you going? Hello? What is my Pokemon doing? He's just T-posing. Fucking hell, I wasted time because my Pokemon didn't want... Where are you going? Where are you going? Holy shit. Oh, and by the way, if you don't care about shiny Pokemon, make sure you have the autosave feature on. Trust me. Got it. Easy. And this happened to me 6 times. 6 times. Never in my many years of playing Pokemon have I ever had such anger while playing Pokemon until now. And trust me, they know this shit is bad. They confirmed that they're giving refunds for the game, and that brings a lot of agony to me because never have I heard someone want a refund for a Pokemon game. And we had Pokemon X and Y for God's sake. But sadly, Pokemon will always be a profitable series for Nintendo, and as long as they see that, they will always bring out a new game as quickly as possible to make a quick buck. No longer are you anxious for the new game because they're coming out so quickly, just like Call of Duty comes out every year. That in itself is sad to hear because they had something going here. Scarlet and Violet had a lot of potential. Like I said, it's one of my top 3 stories. And then the core gameplay behind it, the new Pokemon, and just being open world and be able to do whatever you wanted to do was absolutely fantastic and going in the right direction. But in no way or shape or form in this current state would I ever recommend this game to anyone. They're better off playing Pokeballs on an emulator if they want that Pokemon open world experience. But anyway, that's my entire thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Are the games good? If you only include the story, the Pokemon, and the open world aspect, sure, it's great. But if you have to include everything else that comes with it, all its baggage, no. It's unless Pokemon decides to add some sort of update to it to make it playable, at this point, I would not play the game. So yeah. But yeah, let me know if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me in the comment section down below. And if you enjoy my Pokemon content, then make sure to check out this video right here. With that being said, this is Wheels, and I'm rolling out. Peace.